product portfolio. What are we about Pratt-Canada? What's the value proposition that we bring? Well, just like all of those customers, our customers talked about service and supporting the customer, I think that's one of our strong points. We've got a field rep network around the world, 150 field reps. We've got a network of 28 facilities around the world to support customers where they are. We spend a lot of time working on innovative approaches to customer service, and Tim Swale is going to talk a little bit about that as he goes through the speech this morning. But it's not just about that. If you look at Pratt&WC Canada, we've certified 100 new products in the last 25 years. It's an average of 4 products every year certified. That's an unmatched record in the industry. And when we talk about innovation at Pratt-Canada is not just about that technology, that SS specific fuel consumption, wave technology. It's innovation around how we sell, how we service, how we produce. And in fact, innovation for us, the way we define it internally, is how do we make our customers' business better? That's the ultimate goal, is how to make our customer fly more effectively, more cost effectively, more reliably. Been great developments over the years. If you look at our families, just from the business aircraft world, the PW500, 300s, 800s, all of them leading edge at their time. And you heard this morning in the Gulfstream press release that 30% improvement in fuel burn over the generation of engines on the Gulfstream 450. Noise, absolutely quiet. My friend George Arthur just came out and talked about that. So we're very delighted to be on that platform, and as you heard, entering the service at the end of next year for the P500. PT6 has been a great market for us. I think probably 50,000 produced, 45,000 produced, 25,000 still flying. And people say, well, with Pratt-Canada, we're still investing in the PT6. The PT6 is not one engine, it's a family of engines. 500 shaft horsepower to almost 1,900 shaft horsepower. I think we have 120 different applications for the PT6 around the world, probably 90 different build specs for the engine. But we are investing. But we know the general aviation market as well, and the approach that we're taking to our next generation PT6, maybe we want to call it, is a little bit different than what our competitors might do, but we think it's the right approach in the long term. We already have PT6 with 14-to-1 pressure ratios, so quite high, quite fuel efficient PT6s as well. But we've got another step coming. And as far as the PW800 is concerned, I think you're going to hear from Mike Peridot what we've invested and what our plans are there. So with that, I'll turn it over to the team. I do want to thank you for being here. Pratt-Canada, 90 years next year to be precise. I think it's one of the greatest companies in the world, and we service customers all around the world, and that's really what gets us up every day. So thank you for being here. I'll turn it over to Mr. Swale.
Thank you, John. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. As John mentioned, really our focus of Pratt is all about our customers and ensuring that we remain the leaders in an exceptional customer service experience. Others talk about improving their service network. Well, we have the leading service network in this industry. The general aviation market and the business aviation market is our market, and whether it's field reps, mobile repair teams, or the most comprehensive network of service centers and authorized service centers, we're in the lead in that area, and we intend to stay that way. We continue to innovate on the product, as John mentioned, and Nick will talk to you about some of the innovations on the PT6, and Mike will talk to you about the status of the PW800. But we also continue to innovate on service, and I'll speak to you about a couple of innovations in our maintenance plans that we're announcing today, and an update on a few others. Really, the focus is an exceptional experience from the customer from end to end. And that's from the time the first customer, the second customer, or a resale acquires his aircraft, and the initial service and support we provide right through the life cycle of the ownership model of all the owners of those aircraft, be that frontline maintenance support or when you need us when you have a problem. So on the ESP side, I talked to you about 3 things today. Two new products and an improvement and an updated innovation on one of our existing products. And we have many customers enrolled in our ESP program. It's been very successful. We have very good feedback and enrollment across the products. In July, we announced especially for your PT6 ESP program, which is an ESP maintenance program customized to that market. The customer will get 400 hours of ESP enrollment free, and that's a value of up to $50,000 for that customer. And in addition, for signing up to the program for his first overhaul cycle, he gets a reduced ESP rate. So this is, our continued focus to customize our products and services and our offerings to tailor for the markets and the needs of those customers. The PW800, last year we spoke to you about the engine is flying now, and we were pleased to hear Gulfstream's announcements and progress. Now we're enrolling. So the ESP, Pure Power ESP program is here. We're talking and enrolling customers here at the show. This is a end-to-end full suite of services really aimed at giving the customer maximum availability and minimum friction, ease of doing business with us, and it is the most comprehensive maintenance program in the industry. Lastly, we've announced that our PT6, our present ESP customers, well, we know ESP helps improve the value of the aircraft at resale. We've announced a new opportunity for our PT6 customers to choose how they use that investment in the ESP towards the option of a new or an upgraded engine at their overall. And that can give even additional improvement in the resale value of the aircraft when they come to sell. So on a PT6, you may upgrade from an A42 to an A52 if you've got that capability. On other programs, you can get a new engine, and if that is what's right for you for your life cycle and your life cycle of the aircraft. And it's really part of our commitment to be there for our customers, recognize their ownership models and their specific needs, and tailor solutions. Well, as I mentioned, our frontline network is leading in the industry, and we continue to take steps to keep it on the edge and introduce technology. In the past couple of years, we've spoken to you a lot about our diagnostics and our prognostics and our fast solutions, as well as oil analysis technology that we're rolling out and engaging customers in. Continue to make inroads in that area and deliver real value to our customers, and expect to see us make announcements in the near future about additional platforms where our fast system and our prognostic systems are really helping us bring a level of proactiveness to our customers, as well as giving them improved operating costs and the opportunity to move towards a more predictive maintenance environment with us, and really ultimately help us serve them better. Well, another step for us today, we're announcing that in 2017 we will roll out for all of our reps, available to all of our customers, the on-site video collaboration, which is powered by LeverStream. It's a very powerful tool, whether it's for our customer to talk to a field rep if he's not there, our field rep if he's on-site with the customer, to speak to our specialist home at Pratt, an MRT to speak to our C-First team. Whatever connection between the Pratt & Whitney network and our customer, you'll be able to use this technology to invite them, and with a simple iPhone, we'll have the best people at Pratt able to be looking at a problem in HD. Our customers are in the business of time, and it's probably the most important thing at this NBAA, and every second counts for our customer, and we want to continue to bring technologies to bear so that we continue to move on that commitment of continued innovation. I'll introduce Nick Cornelius, our Vice President of General Aviation, and I'll talk to you about some updates and innovations on the PT6.
Thank you, Tim. So I have one of the greatest jobs around. I get to play with customers and engines. As John said, 50,000 engines produced, almost 25,000 remaining. And what we continue to do is listen to our customers, the aircraft manufacturers that put our engines into their aircraft, and make sure that the combination is the best possible for those operators. So what have we done? Once again, we announced last year the 140 engine as a plan, because it never starts as one aircraft. We go back several years, we introduced the 140 in the Caravan EX, an extremely successful product. We didn't stop there. We worked with all our OEMs because we knew we needed to rejuvenate that small PT6 market, and the 140 does that. It gives you 15% more power, 5% better SFC, and it really gives a tremendous boost for the aircraft and the corporate, utility, cargo, agriculture, and many other markets. So we've got many customers. We have half a dozen customers right now who have already selected it, that were announced, and there's more coming. And this is our first step in really looking at a plan that we've talked to you about, some of you at least, of introducing our latest technology in this space for our customers. One thing I want to make sure of is you understand the 140 has done this up to now with a stellar performance and reliability. That is key for us, and what you know from us is we focus on single engine reliability, and we take that same approach to twin engine aircraft as well. So we give customers an unparalleled experience in terms of reliability and safety, and that is continue to be positioning ourselves to be the power plant of choice in these aircraft. John, our president, as you know, did a flight in a TPM a little while ago. Great experience. And the one thing that we have to say is we focus on making this unique experience something, okay, that becomes every day. Our customers do these kind of trips every day. Why? Because they believe in the aircraft and the engine, the PT6, and the safety and reliability that comes with it. So we make sure that we look at every aspect of how that engine is going to be operated, maintained, to make that an everyday, simple experience for our customers, and something they don't have to think about. One less thing while you're flying an aircraft to think about is the engine. We continue to work with the industry, to work with the regulators, and we have helped move forward so that in Europe, in the near future, you also get single engine IFR. There was actually a symposium just a little while ago, and we were helping the industry understand the importance of reliability and safety to be able to accomplish this, just like it's been now in the US, North America, and in Australia to date, giving customers another option for different aircraft for that kind of experience. You will continue to hear more from us for that. Of course, as I said, reliability and safety comes in many different packages. We talked about the engine that we talked about there, but when we think about controls, think about electronic controls, we've already announced, we've told you we're working on something. We don't stop in terms of the PT6. That engine in there, in that TBM, is almost a 14-to-1 Oper engine. We are working on another platform, as John said, to continue to push 2,000 horsepower and beyond, to give people another experience, but again, in keeping safety, reliability, and focus on introducing the right technology for our customers to continue to get the right aircraft for them. Especially for yours, I know Tim mentioned it, we're very pleased because we worked over time to develop an excellent platform for the maintenance and support of our customers, the ESP. But not everybody's had the opportunity. We know it's a very challenging time, and even our OEMs needed support, so we created this especially for you on PT6. 400 hours, 2 years of free coverage with a lower rate than first overhaul, giving those customers an incentive to be able to experience our program. It offers a lot of value, one-on-one support, dedicated to you, that we in the background listen and monitor. And we've introduced in these systems as well, on several platforms, the opportunity for the monitoring systems. Tim talked about the FAST and the ADAS systems. Those help us connect and bring the customers closer to us. And as we said, with that visual system now, it's one step closer as well to be able to support them. So it's not just a program, it's a program tailored to connect with our customers, to bring them further in. We're talking about 25,000 engines and 8,000 operators, so you can imagine it's a daunting task, and this is why we create these programs, to be able to really bring them into the family and support them. So we look forward to more and more, and I know many of our OEMs have actually packaged their own programs to make it a much more successful program. You'll probably hear from them as well. Thank you. So now we're going to introduce Mike Berto, Vice President of Business Aircraft.
Good afternoon, everybody. Nice to see you here. We all had a great NPWA show this year. I'm going to expand a little bit on some of the things that John said. So first of all, I'd like to give a little bit of a history lesson for the business aviation marketplace, with the business jets in particular. Pratt & Whitney Canada has participated for about 40 years, a little over 40 years. We started with the JT-15 on Cessna's first business jet. We expanded that product line over the years into the different applications. We grew the 15D, we introduced new technologies. Recurring theme here about introducing new technologies. And I would say one important new technology, two important new technologies that we introduced on the 15D were electronic controls, not full FADA, but electronic controls, and a single piece fan. We went further when we introduced the P&WC in the early 90s. We introduced the first full FADA on an all-commercial business jet specifically designed for the business aviation marketplace. We also introduced at the time electronic engine monitoring. We spec'd out our own box that was airframe mounted, that reported in-flight parameters of our engine, and the technology's taken off from there, where it's become the norm. As well with the 300, we grew into a thrust class size that was a significant step above the 15D. We went all the way up to eventually a 7,000 pounds thrust with the PW308. introduced the PW500, as John said, in the mid-90s, expanded the product line there, but essentially replaced the 15B as well, and grew a little bit larger. Which brings us to the 600, which we introduced in the early 2000s at the smaller end of the scale. And the latest product, of course, the P&WC, which is the main point of my theme here today, my presentation today. But when you sum it all up, what we have is a product, or a series of product families that spans 900 pounds thrust to around 16,000 pounds thrust. I don't think any other manufacturer can claim the same thing. So, a couple of stats on the PW800 that I'd like to share with you. For those of you who were at the Gulfstream conference earlier today, you would have heard them talk about how well the flight test program has been going, specifically mentioning some of the attributes of the engine there. On the PW800, we have, let me get the numbers straight so I don't get misquoted. We have over 9,000 hours accumulated in testing of the engine. That includes around 4,000 hours of flight testing combined between our Boeing 747 flying test bed and the Gulfstream G500 aircraft in their flight test program. We've got over 12,000 cycles on the full engine. And when you look at the product family as a whole, the NGPF family, which includes Pratt & Hartford's Air turbofans as well as our PW800s, we have amassed over 45,000 hours of engine testing, and that's not including the in-service hours that are racking up rapidly in airline service. So, you know, as we talk about product maturity by entering service, you know, we're going a very long way in that direction, and it tells in the way that the flight test program at Gulfstream has been going. The attributes of the 800 are really pretty fundamental to what the needs of the marketplace are. Clearly, thrust performance gives the speed, fuel burn performance gives the range, as well as environmental benefits. Beyond that, we've got a combustor system that is focused on both low NOx, which is very important for emerging environmental regulations. We've got double-digit margins to the Cape 6 and the future Cape 8 regulations. And as well, when you look at the kinds of parameters that we anticipate become more important in time, things like unburned hydrocarbon, smoke, and all that, we have ultra low levels. Probably, I would say, the best in the business for unburned hydrocarbons. And what I don't think anybody specifically mentioned in the Gulfstream press conference, but which has come out as a comment from anybody who's flown on the aircraft or been around the aircraft even when it's operating, is the very, very low noise levels of the PW800 engine. So at the rollout last year or the year before last, you couldn't hear the engines as the aircraft was being rolled out. There were jokes being made about did somebody push it, it was just gliding in front. But in fact, the engines were operating at ground idle at the time. So in terms of community noise levels, in terms of cabin comfort, it's going to be a step change versus anything that's out there today. As Tim said, we're also introducing we announced the ESP Pure Power PW800 program last year. This year we're enrolled. So our motto for last year was flying now, because the engine was the first in the new generation of engines to be flying. Now we're also the first to be certified. We will be the first to enter service. And now we're enrolling customers in the ESP program. So if anybody in the room wants to understand what the specifics are for the ESP program, all you have to do is buy a G500 and we'll be happy to tell you. Very simple. Apart from the PW800, we have a couple of other major milestones this year that we'd like to highlight. So we certified the PW617F1E. The previous model was the FE for Embraer's Phenom 100 EV program. Embraer did some refreshes on the aircraft, on the engine side of things. We gave them some more power, so the max cruise speed and the hot and high performance of the aircraft are improved, so we're very excited by that. And for the Falcon 8X, again, as anybody who was at the Dassault press conference is aware, they've had a very successful development program on the aircraft, including the global tour around the world. They've delivered their first aircraft, and there's more to come this year. And of course, we were a key part of that with the development of the P&WC second engine, where again we made some updates to the engine to provide some better SFCs, fuel consumption, and some more thrust. So all in all, we've taken a great aircraft, which was the F7X, and also to give another great aircraft, which is the F8X. I think that's it, so I'll hand things back to Mark for Q&A.
Thank you very much, Mike, Tim, and Nick. We'll open the floor for a few questions. Please, yes, please state your name and the publication if you're
Tony Harrington, Eva. Mike, could you give us a few clues as to how you've got so quiet on that engine?
Very, very smart engineers. And no kidding, I mean, you get low noise by designing the engine as an entire system aerodynamically. Yes, we do have some noise attenuation, but we don't, the low noise levels don't result just because of noise attenuation. It's the aerodynamic design of all of the stages. We went for a slightly higher bypass ratio than we otherwise needed to just for pure performance. So I would say, Tony, it's really it's the balance, right? You know, an engine is a very complex system. You're trying to find the right balance of all of the major attributes of performance, noise, maintainability. I mean, we didn't talk about it this time, but you know, if you were to look at when you look at the installation of the 800 and the cell on the aircraft, you know, there's a lot of things you don't see, and what you don't see is all the mess of externals, harnesses, and tubes. There are some that are still there, but it's an incredibly neat package. The access for maintenance, for the access panels to get inside of the engine. It's I don't think there's another engine out there like it.
The two big features though are the fan, you choose all the shock waves, the fans don't get that approach noise. And the exhaust, the mixer of the cyclists control the way to a much higher frequency from the mixing of the exhaust and create the average velocity balance of noise. As well as include the SFC, the cycle, fan design, attenuation, and bypass ratio.
By the way, John is a very, very smart engineer.
very small pilot question for you.
Thank you, Mark. And my question is for John Savas. John, what are your general thoughts on corporate supersonic?
I will say this, it's not an area that we're really investing in right now, and I don't think it's in the next 5 to 10 years as being a future. And right now, our focus is really going to be much more on our next generation PT6, new applications for the 800, extending the 300 family. So for us, corporate supersonic is not a short-term outlook for us.
But what do you see? I mean, look further out.
Yeah, further out, I'm
Yes.
really want to look. I suppose someday it's going to be there. People want to fly the very long distances and want to go across, it's 14 hours a day, 9 hours, whatever. I think there's going to be a need for that somewhere. But the technology on the engine side right now, to be the kind of thrusted one of the SFCs and the power weight, it's not something that is something we're working on at this point in time. I think it can happen, but for us, it's not the next 5 to 10 year investment for us.
Mr. Arvai has a question.
Yep. When we listen to your competitor and they're talking about their new advanced turboprop as a competitor to the PT6, they talk about the GE store. Can you talk about the United Technologies store and whether you have similar technologies coming through?
Sure. So, yes. The Pratt & Whitney organization starts apart, right? Big engines that came up with the GTF, and of course the 800 has all of that technology and our technology as well from our experience in business aircraft. We take from that, and of course we also have United Technology Research Center, which has other technology that they produce. So we look at our vast array of experience. We're in utility, we're in corporate, we're in agriculture. We take all of that experience as well, technologies that we incorporated, and we pull that together. So we have a UTC technology equivalent, and even, I would say fundamental research, technology that we develop at the corporate level, at the Pratt & Whitney level, and as well, working with others like UTAS, does the control systems. We involve everybody in terms of how we generate technology in our engines and drive what we need in the next generation platform. So that is the approach we're taking for our next generation engines. As I said earlier, we're already at 13 and 14 to 1 over. We already have class-leading performance and reliability. We are working on electronic controls, which will change the game in how you run a turboprop, and we're already pushing the envelope higher on the 2,000 plus horsepower. So we just can't talk about it today, but yes, we have multiple sources of technology where we drive from, but ideally suited for the aircraft. The environment's going to operate. You've heard in the Pilatus conference probably they run on unpaid, unprepared strips. The engines have to be designed to do that reliably to get to where they want to go, so the pilots and the operators feel comfortable flying them. So that is our target, the right technology for the right environment.
Yes, I would say too that the fact that the PT6 today is 40% bigger than the first, and also leverage technologies that have arisen from where the corporation. So we've already accessed technologies from around the corporation, and I guess the other fact would be that since we're the diverse architecture of the PT6, even after so many years, is still the right solution for that space. I think sort of speaks for itself in a way.
Question from Reuters, please.
Al Scott from Reuters. You mentioned, Tim, the enhancements to the Eagle service program, and something about, and I'm still thinking of buying a G500, so I want to understand. But before I make that momentous decision, what you mentioned something about buyers being able to use their investment in the ESP program toward upgrading, and can you tell me more about how that works, and then just clarify the sort of the overall thrust of what you're doing with ESP? Thank you.
So that announcement was for our existing in production engines of customers that are already on their ESP. So as you know, in ESP, they're putting a reserve into that program, and when it comes time for overhaul, which as an ESP product already gives you the best resale value of the aircraft because you've had Pratt with you every step of the way in overhauling that product, whether it's the best improvements that go into the engine or the OEM knowledge that we impart all the way through the process. But now we've given the customer the option of taking that, taking their investment in the ESP and using that towards the purchase of a new engine as opposed to the overhaul of the engine they have. And in that we have exchange programs out there, and they're able to use their investment in an overhaul put towards the purchase of a new engine at a special rate for the purchase of that engine.
Thank you. Two last questions. One from Mr. Donner? No, Mr. Boy.
AMT Technology Europe. Actually, we had two short looks in a crystal ball that was a little bit fuzzy about next generation PT6 and new technology. So how about taking a third look in a crystal ball and telling us more about PT6 that is going to come?
Glad you asked. So, can't talk about the specifics. Of course, we always work with our aircraft OEMs and they have a timeline and we work to protect their interests. So, but we are, as I mentioned, we're investing in technology that will give people, operators and aircraft OEMs the ability to do much more than we've done on the electronics front, changing how you operate and maintain a turboprop. 2,000 plus horsepower, we actually have today, if you didn't know, an engine flying that's over 2,000 horsepower and a tilt rotor with a good stuff. So it's not like we don't know what to do in terms of the technology, the materials required to do a 2,000 horsepower engine. That may or may not be the path we go down for the next generation, and we'll tell you about it as it comes out. But already we have materials technology, compressor technology, and electronics that we are working on to develop a platform that will surprise everyone in terms of what we're going to do next for that size engine. We'll tell you as soon as we're ready. Keep tuned, and that's about all I can tell you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Maybe one last question before we end the event, and thank you for coming. then. My friend, Volker, how are you?
Thank you, Volker from with Bond International. I have a kind of provocative question. Tim, you said there will be a launch of the on-site video collaboration solution in early 2017. What exactly does this tool is capable of, what like Skype isn't capable of? Because I can have my iPhone right now, have a look at the engine, and someone else in my maintenance shop can look at it at the same time. What exactly are you capable of?
We looked around for what we believe was the best in the industry, and we chose the on-site program powered by LeaderStream for its overall capabilities. So from an industrial security perspective, it met all of our requirements. It's able to do active, dynamic bandwidthing of the image. So when the bandwidth is there, dynamically you're getting the best possible HD image of the tool. It also has capabilities to connect through a special hub to connect your iPhone directly to a boroscope hub. And now you're able to be not just in front of the engine, but to actually be inside the engine with real-time HD imaging. We looked at all the FaceTime is just not going to do it for our customers. We needed to take it to the latest IT solutions, and that's our commitment here. I'd be happy to share additional information.
Thank you, Tim. So before I ask him, our colleague Maria Delaposta to say a few words in order to close the event, I invite you to make sure to bring your press kit with you. We have the paper version and we have the USB key version with my colleague Jane at the back of the room. Please make sure to visit us at the booth. We're here the whole week, so it was a pleasure seeing you all. And thank you very much. And I will invite Maria to say a few words in closing.
Thank you, for putting this together for us. Great job. And thank you all for being here today. It's really a pleasure to see so many of you here. And I'd like to make sure I also extend a formal invitation if any of you are anywhere near any one of our facilities worldwide, our headquarters in Montreal. We'd love to host you so we can show you firsthand not just what we do, but how we do it. And I had the opportunity to talk to a few of you earlier, and maybe it's because we're Canadian, maybe it's because we just have the privilege of looking after 12,000 customers. It is our collective passion and ambition to be able to serve them well. You heard very little, or a little bit about our products today, whether it's our advanced PT6 products, and what makes it possible, not just for one person to take a single engine flight across the Atlantic, but for people to do that routinely every day, and what goes into that. And there's nobody who's certified as many turboprops as we have. And I think there's this very special engineering and capability that goes into doing that. So I think we bring a lot to that. We talked a little bit about our services and what we're doing to make sure that we're always at the forefront of what our customers need. And we do have a very diverse customer fleet. We take care of helicopters, general aviation customers, business aviation customers, regional airlines, trainers, any manner of applications that are out there. And we see that as a privilege because we learn from every one of the segments that we're in, and we're able to bring it to our whole community of customers. And in the end, our success is inextricably tied to their success. And that's how we measure ourselves, frankly. We look at how well our customers are doing, and we look, we're a small part of that in helping them achieve that. But you'll hear a lot this week too about business models and how the world is changing around us and how customers are looking at different ways to interact with us. And you'll see the Pratt Canada name attached to any number of them, whether it's fractional, charter, cards, leasing. We're there offering solutions to our customers because we realize that the world is evolving and we want to be leaders in that space as well. So once again, thank you for being here. It's hopefully we'll cross paths many times this week. I wish you all a good show. And again, please come and see us so we can show you firsthand how we make it happen. Thank you.